Scottish folk musician and composer, and I play the flute and the piano, and I've been playing music since I was 10. But originally I'm from Strathspey, just not far from Loch Ness, just a place called Grantown-on-Spey. And I grew up there and learned to play folk music there. Came down to Glasgow, of course, because it was such an exciting scene here. I've been here ever since, been here for 17 years. I love it here. It's a really vibrant folk music scene that's here, and there's a huge amount of crossover between the different genres here in Glasgow. It's really exciting. There's jazz musicians, indie musicians and folk musicians, and within my piece, The River, that I'll be performing at CeltFest, there's a load of musicians in that band from a variety of genres, so that's really exciting. I lived in Boston for a year. I studied at the Berklee College of Music as well, and now I teach at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland on the traditional music course. I teach tunesmithery and music theory and flute and piano. I was recently commissioned by Celtic Connections Festival to write a piece of music for their New Voices series, and the theme that I chose to write about was my home up in Strathspey, and I just found all these amazing stories, histories, legends, tales, wildlife stories. It's a real treasure of a place to write about, and so I composed music about the fishing, about the hatching of the mayfly. It's a very dramatic event that happens on the river, about the freshwater pearl mussels that we have. I grew up 100 yards from the river. It was always there in the background when I was growing up, so it was quite natural to write a piece of music about the river. Got loads of my favourite musicians to come and play with me on the piece. So after we performed the piece at Celtic Connections Festival and premiered it at Glasgow Royal Concert Hall and launched the album there as well, I wanted to take the piece to festivals and venues throughout the UK. And one of the first people to get in contact was the Isle of Man CeltFest, and it's such a culturally rich place. And so straight away they expressed an interest in, you know, music of Strathspey and what I was doing with the project. They instantly got it, which was great. And so we're opening the festival on the Wednesday night with The River. And the first half, I'm very excited. We've got Scran, a local music group, are performing with us. And they're going to be playing local Manx music. I'll be working with the Scran in their local cultural centre, the Culture Van and Office. So I'm really excited that we're doing this kind of double bill with the local music group, and that bit's called From the Source, and in the second half is my piece at The River.
So we've just arrived on the Isle of Man. It's the first time I've been in the Isle of Man. Nothing for it but just to get stuck right into Manx culture and just jump right in.
So wherever we're taking The River, we don't just want to go and perform the show. I'd like to go there a month or so in advance and work with the local young musicians and listen to their set and make suggestions and help them out with their music, and also learn some tunes myself as well, and get the chance to work with them. I know as a young musician at that age, I remember lots of bands coming through Strathspey and working with our music teacher back home. Was brilliant for getting professional bands to come in and work with students. It was just a brilliant opportunity to work with a professional musician. It was really exciting, so I'm glad to be able to continue that idea and go and work with the locals. So we've just finished working with the Scran group there. I had a brilliant session today, learning some Manx tunes, and I taught them some reels and Strathspey. It was quite a nice wee exchange that we had, and
I think it's a brilliant thing getting the chance to do this. I feel very privileged to be able to come over here to the Isle of Man and meet all these great young people. Culture Vannin have got a really wonderful thing going here, a really important thing, and that's encouraging use of the language, encouraging the tunes, and getting people out playing. And you know, there's some great bands that have come out of the Isle of Man, and it's a place that's producing like world-class folk musicians, and it's a place that's got a really unique heritage, and it's great. I was lucky enough to go to a summer camp called Fèis Spé, which means Festival of Spé in Gaelic, and it's one of the many festivals run by a brilliant organisation called Fèis and Gael, and it provides a brilliant opportunity for young people to get together, play music, share music, learn tunes, share their favourite albums or their, you know, and really get into folk music. And from Fèis Spé alone, I can think of at least, you know, a dozen musicians that are out there performing as professional musicians, in my generation. And it's really exciting. It's really important that these things that they have funding for these things, and that they keep going, and they provide a really important thing for the area. So I think it's great what Culture Vannin are doing here, and I hope long may it continue.
There are so many parts of Scotland and the UK that are really rich in music and language and culture, and I'd love to take the river to these places, work with local young musicians, learn some of their local tunes. I teach them some tunes, they teach me some tunes, and just that sharing of different ideas and cultures is just absolutely at the heart of the project.